Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on September 12th at approximately 6:49 a.m. PST. Well, today we talk about choice. What is choice? Now, I laid out yesterday how thought works, or how it plays into everything. Now, this is the first big step. We've had the thought process, now we're at choice. The choice is this. You can either choose to stay in the path that you're on, and deal with whatever you're dealing with, or you can choose to alter the way your path is going. Okay, now, if the choice is to alter the path that you're following at current, stay with me, and we will walk you through it. And the reason I say we, by the way, is because I draw a whole pile of information from past clients, from past people I've talked to. I didn't get here on my own. Now, by no means am I perfect. Okay, by no means at all. I am not a millionaire. I can give you a list of things I'm not. Okay, but that being said, the choice is the choice is complicated for a lot of people, but the options are simple. Either stay in the path you're on, or alter the path you're on. It's just that simple. It's not one and the other. Okay, it is literally one or the other. So, that's where your choice is. Now, before I get into this, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If and then don't forget, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Okay, because there's a lot more information coming up, so don't forget to hit that alert button to let you know when the next step is, or what the next video is coming up. I do my best to get them out once a day. I've got a number of them on the go, a number of things on the go right now. I just yesterday brought in. I now have a shelf right here. Again, you can't see it, but you'll have to work with it. But I've got because my left hand takes too much time to concentrate, too much concentration on it to write with it while I'm talking to you. I'll work on it, but for the moment, I've got a notepad here for making little adjustments for things I've got to do as I go along. And again, I have the same choice you do. I can stay in the path I've been on, or I can choose to alter it. My choice was simple. My choice was to alter the path I'm on, to rearrange the energy, to redirect it so that my life can carry on forward. Now, I did do a video earlier in this series that I titled Feng Shui. Okay, look it up. It will explain a lot more about the way energy itself works. But today we're focusing on choice. Now, it's very much like my coffee. I could choose to drink something else. Everything in your life is a choice. Okay, a choice between one thing or the other. It's got nothing to do with figuring out what's best for you. It is simply at this stage, we'll get to the figuring out what's best for your path in a few days. Quite literally, that will come on, I think, in about a week, a little bit over a week. But in any event, I'm not doing the math today. So you have a choice to make. It's very much like the issue of the choice between conflict or peace. Okay, now the choice between conflict and peace means, literally, are you going to choose to create a complication, or to help somebody else create a complication, which, by the way, boils down to you doing it. Okay, or are you going to choose peace? In my eyes, there is only one functional choice. I choose peace. Okay, and this is one of the reasons why I chose to step away from society on the whole. Right, I'm still doing the videos. I'm not going anywhere with that. Okay, but I've given myself a time frame, And I'm not going to bother going into what that is because at this point it's an unstable time frame. Okay. I have chosen not to lock myself into an absolute concrete path, except where it comes to doing the videos, I've laid out my next almost 2 weeks of videos. So I'm not having to think too much about what am I going to do today, what am I going to do tomorrow. But here's something to think about regarding the idea of moving forward. Okay, if you think about moving forward, the only way to move forward, if you're walking, is to lift one foot up and step forward, then lift the next foot up and step forward. Well, here's the problem. If you don't let go of the past, okay, if you do not forgive yourself enough, forgive yourself for the mistakes, and here's the one that I recommend to a lot of people where it comes to forgiving yourself. Okay, and again, this is a choice. You can choose to hang on to the guilt. You can choose to hang on to the sorrow. You can choose to hang on to the anger. Okay. Now, you may argue the point there's no choice. You don't have any control over it. Well, that's a little overstated. Okay. Because if you think about it, your heart beats at a certain level. Now, some people will tell you you've got no choice. That's what it does. Except there are many people, myself included, and yourself included, if you think about it, that can control the speed of your heart rate. You think about it, you'll slow the heart down. If you do, if you take the time to focus on it, you'll be able to actually do that. But again, that choice is yours. Okay, as to whether you do it or not. So keep that in mind and work with that. Now, here's the nice little thing about choice. Once you make a choice, I got sidetracked. We're talking about walking. Now, you're moving forward, you put a foot forward. Now, you want to hang on to the past. You choose to hang on to the past. Choose to hang on to the anger, onto the hurt, onto the disappointment. Okay. Don't move your left foot. Okay, just step forward with the right foot. Now you're going to hang on to the left foot. You're going to hang on to the past. So you leave your left foot anchored. So you do not lift it up at all. Now you're going to try and move forward again. And again, that means you take your right foot because that's the one that's moving forward. And don't take my word for it. Get up and try it. Okay. Take your right foot a second time, move it forward another foot. Pick it up and step forward. And do that for as long as you can. Now, some of you are going to do this and you're going to go, I'm choosing to hang on to the past. And maybe you're flexible enough that you can do the splits, which means one foot way out behind you, the other foot way out in front of you. But that's where it'll end. There's only so much time that you'll be able to do. At some point, you're no longer going to be able to stand up and move one foot forward while not moving the other one at all. It is your choice to do that, but it will leave you stuck. Okay, and eventually you're going to be forced to let go of the past. You're going to be forced to move that back leg. Or you're not going to get anywhere. Okay, it's very much like when you were told that some project and some goal that you had was beyond your reach. There was no way you were going to make it. Somebody told you, you can't do it. Now, when I was growing up, I was taught a very simple poem, and there's only one line I could ever remember throughout my life. I do have the poem, and I still don't remember it. Okay, but the one line I did remember was "Can't is a word that is foe to ambition." Okay, now if you look on the internet, you can find this poem, and it's literally called "Can't." Okay, that's it. Okay. Now, I ended up, as I was growing up, I ended up reciting that poem once a week, every week, for I think 13 years. No, let me think here. We quit in 77, 63, so probably 68, so 11 years, sorry. So 11 years, 52 weeks out of the year, I would recite that poem, roughly. Okay, and that one phrase stuck in my head. Okay, and so that was a choice. And now the choice was, of course, I was a little kid. I didn't have a lot of choice. That's what we did first thing in the morning. Every Sunday morning, first thing in the morning, we recited that poem. Okay, we recited at least one. I think it was only one stanza of it, but that doesn't matter. The important factor is that the phrase was, "Can't is a word that is foe to ambition." Okay, now time went on, and I started looking into things, and that was where I came up with the issue of I choose peace. It was a choice of becoming very agitated, very angry with people. And of course, the sad reality and angry with people was probably the wrong phrase. That's how it manifested a lot of the time when I was younger. But the issue was I was very disappointed in people. Now, you might think that was a little strange, but at 6 years old, I was questioning things that apparently 6-year-olds don't question. Okay. And, by the time I got into my early adulthood, I was very much reclusive. I did not deal with people well. Okay, didn't have a whole lot of friends. I became what I called an outcast amongst outcasts. But I came to the conclusion that choosing peace was so much easier for me. But what happened was I developed virtually no social skills to speak of. Okay, and I used to run with that phrase. I still hold it here in my heart. I will still tell you, you can choose war or you can choose peace. You can choose conflict or you can choose peace. Take your pick. Okay, you can't choose conflict to get peace, because here's the problem. War does not bring peace. Screaming does not, in other words, stressful communication does not bring peace. It brings quiet. Okay, because the other people involved will go for cover or they'll just stop arguing. That's not peace. That's not agreement. That is simply a choice to stop the conflict. Now, understand, an argument can only, the way it was put to me, is an argument is an exchange of ignorance. A discussion is an exchange of intelligence. Okay, or an exchange in wisdom. Now, personally, I do not deal with ignorance well. This is why as a matter of fact, I've got to dig that out, and I will make a note of that. Like I said, I keep this thing here so I can actually look and look at the list that I've got to deal with. Okay, and get it dealt with. Okay, I've got to double check and make sure because I've got a book list of the books I've read. Okay, and I really can't tell you how many. Okay, I will do my best. As a matter of fact, let's see. I'm just marking this down to report the book list tomorrow. In other words, when I come on tomorrow, I will tell you how many. The idea is to tell you how many books I actually read, that I've actually read. Now, I'll give you the rest of the information, but this method of writing things down on my list is simply a way for me this is the same tool I'm telling you to use. It's one that I personally use. But it is your choice whether you use it or don't. Now, that said, if you're in a position of power, and rest assured, if you're a parent, you're in a position of power. If you're a lawmaker, you're in a position of power. If you're a politician, you're in a position of power. And you, at that point, have a choice. Are you going to make a law, or are you going to make a decision that is actually, that number one, you're going to follow? And much more importantly, is that choice going to leave other people with the freedom of choice? Understand, the only 3 laws I deal with. Okay, don't get me wrong. If a law is written, I will follow it. Because karmic law says, number 1, be true to yourself first. Number 2, do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Number 3, energy out, energy in. Okay, so if a law is written down, I will follow it. But here's where you run into the problem. I'm choosing to follow the laws, and you have the same choice. Okay, many of these laws, to me, do not make sense. Okay, like I saw one the other day that is actually still on the books. I don't know where. But this law does not make any sense why somebody wrote it. Never mind how you would how you would do a thing with it if people didn't break this law. Now, it is freedom of choice. But here's what the law literally says, and I forget, it's one of the states it's one of the United States, and I don't remember which one. Okay, so you'll have to do it. You look up odd laws. Okay, odd laws today. These are still on the books. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. But the law I'm referring to was written back when railroads were really a main form of transportation. And the law was this: when two trains approach an intersection, not when two trains approach each other, neither can move until the other one passes. Now think about that. This is the law. You cannot move until the other train passes you. Now bear in mind, it can't move either. This is what I mean by a law that does not make sense. Okay. Now, that being said, if laws, now we have to have, like it or not, we have to have politicians. Everybody is a politician. Okay, but we have in a democratic society, you have to have politicians to help bring things into balance. There have to be laws. Problem is this: if the laws do not apply to everybody across the board, regardless of their standing, regardless of their income, okay, regardless of their orientation, if they do not apply to everybody, okay, when you choose to make a law that does not apply to everybody and does not leave people with the freedom of choice, okay, then, and especially if you're not going to follow it, then that society will fracture into two societies. Now, don't take my word for it. Take a look at history. Take a look at your own household or your own company. If that law does not apply to everybody, does it not separate? Okay. Now, when that subculture surfaces, if the laws that they make do not apply to everybody in that subculture, it will fracture again. Okay. Now, this has been seen and is being seen in recent history through the churches. Okay. They follow one guideline is basically what they tell you. We're we're Christian. We follow Christ. Now, I use that because that's what I was raised with. I suspect very strongly, now I know for certainty, that with Wiccans, with the pagan religions, okay, which quite frankly were not newer religions, they are old. Okay, but I suspect very strongly that they do the same thing. If they don't agree, they have fractured. Look at the world today and all the subcultures and all the subsets of society, of religion, even amongst quite frankly, even from what I've come in contact with of the lesbian society. They are so fractured in their belief structures that society has turned in. It looks like a shattered window. Okay. There's no functional communication. It's a case of my way is the right way, your way is the wrong way. These are choices people are making. Instead of going, okay, that's your way. It's not causing me a major problem. Okay, now do understand, this does not in any way mean if a law is wrong that you should not follow it. Okay, because you must follow the laws of the land in which you are. That falls under the second karmic law. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. If you're making rules in your own home or in your own community, okay, then you desire the people, when you make a law, you desire people to follow it. Well, if you desire people to follow the laws you make, It is only by karmic law right that you should follow the laws in somebody else's community. But the choice is yours. Okay, now here's the thing. When we take a look at time, okay, think of time as right in the palm of your hand is the present. Okay, you start at the elbow, you have one path that goes up to the present. One path, and that's it. Once you go down it, you're fine. Now, think of it this way. You're in the present. Okay, now you've got all these different options. Now, clearly, there's more options you've got than 5. Okay, but ultimately it boils down to 2. Okay, so you've got this option. You can go up the thumb, or you can go up the index finger. Now, you're sitting in the present right now. These are 2 possible futures. You can choose either one. But the moment you choose one of them, so let's say you choose to go up the thumb. Okay, now the thumb, now here's a sidetrack for you. That bend in the thumb. Okay, if you take a look at palmistry, the bend in that thumb tells you what kind of leadership focus you have. Okay, you look at the person's dominant hand. Look at how much that thumb bends. Okay, the more it bends, the more of that leadership you actually possess. Don't take my word for it. Look it up, talk to a palmist, do whatever you have to, but look into it. Okay, this is what I came to understand, and this is the way I live my life. That's all I'm telling you on that one. But you've got the choice between going up the index finger or up the thumb. You're still in the present. Once you make the decision, I'm going up the thumb. Okay, you go up the thumb. Right, you go up the thumb. Now, you cannot, considering the fact that we are talking about if this becomes a present, every decision you make is locked in. You cannot go back and unmake that decision. Okay, if you go around and decide you're going to open the window, you cannot say, I didn't open the window. You can say, I desire to close the window, but you will not take away the fact you opened the window. But once you've chosen to go up that thumb, the option of going up the finger is impossible. It no longer is doable. Take a look at your thumb. Don't take my word for it. Look at your own thumb. If your own thumb is connected to your index finger, you may have an interesting complication. But it's got nothing to do with choice. Well, it really does. But when it comes to that, that is a choice you have to make. Every decision you make is a choice. Now, you could choose to listen to what I'm talking about, or you could have chosen a long time ago to hang up on me. Which, it's like I've told people many times. I make everybody I meet happy. Some people by showing up, most of them by leaving. Okay, so from my standpoint, it really boiled down to I had a choice. I could continue going out and dealing with people out in public, or I could say, I've had enough of the arguments. I'm just going to pull back from society. I will pay my bills. I will do what I have to. But if I don't leave my house, I don't have to deal with people that I don't invite in. Okay. Now, yes, there is a potential I may run into that problem. It is possible I'll end up with somebody trying to break the law, forcing their way into my house, or somebody who is representative of the law coming into my house. Those ones, I again have a choice. I can fight or I can let them come in. Well, you can bet your bottom dollar if somebody's trying to break into my house, I'm probably not going to be that cooperative. Where it comes to proper law enforcement, obvious to me, I'm not about to create as much of a problem. But it's my choice, my way of dealing with it. By the way, I will tell you, becoming excessively reclusive, although it is a choice, it is your free will, it's something you might want to think about because there are ramifications. I'm not getting into those right now. Every decision you make is a choice. Now, for those of you, since we're getting down to the end of this particular video, for those of you that are considering starting your own business or picking up an old project that you put on hold, the choice is yours. Okay. You can either choose to leave things as they were, or you can choose to start moving forward with it. Okay. Now, if I look at this, nope, not that one, this one over here. See, I mentioned I put this list together. I've got the list of my next number of videos right here. So if you've got an idea, if you've got a topic that you'd like me to go over, understand. I've got a list that is what are we? That one might take 4. So depending on how I do it, I'm starting on the next one tomorrow. Will be on planning. Okay. Now I know the way that the plan works, and it may take me as much as 4 days to finish that one. So if I go there, we go 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you've got a video, if you've got a question, if you've got a topic that you'd like me to cover, understand my next 2 weeks are already laid out. However, if you drop me a line in the comments below, or if you want more of a personal, more of a private, or shall we say non-public comment or question, drop it to me at one of the contact points below. Okay, they're all listed down under this video. And I will get back to you regarding whatever the question is. But doing a video on it is going to be a couple of weeks because my next 14 days are already laid out. Okay, and that's just the way that's going to go. Again, this is a question of organizing the energy, so I don't have to really figure it out. You've seen me run around in circles way too often. Okay, even for me it was way too often. So at this point, I figure if I actually get things moving properly, or more to the point, when I get them moving properly, which is why I've got that list there, why I've added a couple of things here. I've only got 4 things on my list right now, one of which I'm about to wrap off. But the choice is yours. You can choose to stay on the path you're on, or you can choose to alter the energy and the energy flow in your life to co-create a different life. Okay. You cannot do a thing, and nobody can do a thing about where their life is currently. In other words, you can't change the fact that you got there. But it is entirely up to you as to whether you start altering what you're doing. Gather what tools you require and alter what you're doing in order to alter the path and alter your potential future. That is totally in your control. Yes, there are decisions you're going to be railroaded into. There are consequences to every decision you make. And I know that there is one individual in particular that is struggling with a decision that they have to make, but their situation is absolutely untenable. It is one that there is no right answer to. And you may be facing the same thing. But that issue, okay, they have a decision to make, and they're going to have to make it sooner or later. But the problem is that the decision they're making sets in motion a number of things that they already know. And I will quite readily vouch for the fact that it will set things in motion that they will have no control over, that it will create a lot more stress and potential complications. But if the decision isn't made, it leads down another path that's essentially the same way. The question isn't, are they going to go through a lot of stress? The question is, are they going through the stress they're choosing to go through by choosing to go, this is the path I'm choosing, or I'm choosing to simply suffer what somebody else is doing. Now, you may be facing the same problem. Okay. And to that one individual, they've got the one thing that I do desire them to know is that regardless of what they're going through, I'm not going to walk away. I'm just not walking away from it. That is my choice. And again, that is a choice that I have to make. It's got its own consequences. You too have a decision to make. Okay, and you are right now at a crossroads in your life. You can stay right where you are, just like everybody else in existence, or you can choose to alter the path you're on. Okay, so surround yourself with people that will support you. And for the time being, because I keep these to the half-hour mark, one last little comment. If you like the video again, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel because I will be back again tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow we start on we start dealing with success, with the plan to get success. This falls right after, if you choose to move forward the next 4 days, we are going to walk through those steps. Okay, just so you know what's coming up. Until then, until tomorrow, and I don't know what time I'll be here tomorrow, hopefully first thing in the morning, but until tomorrow, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.